Mabuhay Kamusta, welcome, how are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea with a very special guest. You probably recognize him, and we're here live in person. This is Bill from Philippines On Demand. And Bill had an idea that I wanted to do a video with him, Q&A. This is about living away from home, so it kind of has to do with retirement. And you know, when you marry a Filipina, there's a good chance, at least, that you'll consider living abroad, which means you have to leave something behind to go somewhere. So Bill, if you don't mind, I'd like to fire off some questions for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, at what point, when in your life did you start thinking about moving to another country to live?
Well, that started years ago. When I was in the U.S. Marine Corps, back in 1988 is when I was first introduced to the Philippines. I did duty over at, I was stationed on mainland Japan, Iwakuni, Japan, and I would come over to Subic Bay and do temporary additional duty. We call it TAD. And that's where I fell in love with the Filipino people, the culture. So that's when the actual seed was planted. And then I promised myself back then, if I ever had a career in which that afforded me the opportunity to retire, then I would retire and live in the Philippines. And I moved to the Philippines in 2014 and began thinking more seriously about retirement in 2013.
Okay, so it wasn't a snap decision.
Oh, no.
It does, I think some people make a really quick, rash decision, and it's such a big move with so many potential consequences and changes that I'm glad you're able to think through that. But did you ever ask your family for their opinion about a big move like this?
Well, being at the time, 53 years old, I didn't really feel it was necessary that I ask anybody for permission, you know, and no disrespect to my family, but, you know, I'm a grown man. I've been abroad, I've been around the world. They're used to me being away.
Okay.
So, but I did put out some feelers with the people that I felt cared about me most in the family unit.
Okay.
And those are the ones that I consulted with and gave them the respect that I felt as though that they deserved, and just bounced it off them, and you know, they were very supportive.
So the response was good.
They weren't surprised.
Okay, well
Yeah.
that's good. They're prepared for that. So do you know how many, and can you tell us how many family members you left behind when you came to the Philippines full time?
Well, I left 4 siblings, my mother, my son, he's in his early 20s, you know, and you know, a lot of friends that I really admired. And to be very honest with you, Bob, and your viewers, there are some friends that were harder to depart from and separate from than some of my family members because of our special bond that we have.
Are you able to keep in touch with those friends?
Oh yeah, social media is a nice platform for that. It's a great vehicle, but you know, you got to weed out all the drama. You got to deal with all the drama, you know, especially on Facebook. But yeah, I would be lost without social media because it does provide the vehicle in which I can utilize to keep in touch with, you know, like my sister that I'm very close with. I just adore her. You know, so that, you know, and I have some friends that I used to work with in the Department of Corrections. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to stay in touch with people.
So have you had any regrets about this decision?
Yeah, I would say if I had one regret, it would be that, excuse me, even though I prepared, I regret listening and putting all my eggs into the expat basket. Expats that tell you you don't need health insurance, which at the time I thought was just absolutely ludicrous. But when you listen to the wrong people and they mislead you, and now I sit with a medical condition with no health insurance, that's putting a lot of stress on my family, my sister back home and my wife here. And no, since you brought it up, you cannot live on $500 a month. You cannot live like a king on $500 a month, not even in the province.
Well,
so that's my one regret. I wish that I would have better researched and put a health insurance plan in place before I came.
Okay, now you knew you were going to be separating yourself from family, but has that gone the way you thought it was going to, where you expected it to be?
Yeah.
Nothing shocking.
Nothing shocking. Basically, the relationships and the problems that you might have back home don't go away just because you move abroad. Distance, there's an old saying, distance makes the heart grow fonder. That's not really true. That's not really true. I think it's something that some guy, in spandex eating donuts on a 6th floor somewhere, on a high rise, just is paid to think of fancy quotes and send those out.
Good.
But distance does not always make the heart grow fonder. If you have a poor relationship in the United States or whatever country you're in, it actually widens the gap within that relationship. That's been my personal experience.
Well, if you hit that arrow there, is that going to go down to more?
It should.
It doesn't for me. Well, I can answer that question, but I can't seem to get it to go anymore.
Yeah, I think that might have been the last one.
Let me ask you one more question. This is Bill from Philippines On Demand. Practically neighbors here while we're here on vacation for the 4th time for me. Now, Aiza is over here with me. I fully can understand now after 4.5 years of marriage what it's like for her to be away from home. I mean, when I'm here with her, then it really underscores when she's back home.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see how she loves her family. I can see how she gets along with the kids and how happy she is here. Fingerprint time.
He's using my phone, so I have the outline on my phone.
But do you think your wife understands the dynamics of the family separation? Because if she's not left her family to be in another country thousands of miles away, do you think she understands what you're dealing with if you ever get down or lonely? And I think that was the question I had later on, was about loneliness.
That's a really good question. And to answer that really honestly, I think she has an understanding of it, but I don't think that she has a full understanding of the ramifications behind it, because she has not yet experienced it. No, your wife, she experienced it. She understands it fully, so she can understand the separation that I'm going through. Your wife can, because she's actually living it. But my wife does sympathize towards how I feel, and she's always open to listening. She's very educated. She's like many Pinay. They are very selfless, very caring, very emotionally nurturing of their partner. So yeah, she has a basic understanding, and she's very supportive.
So do you ever, last question for Bill from Philippines On Demand will be about loneliness. You've been here, you said, 6 years or so?
Almost, it'll be, the end of July 2020 will be 6 years.
Okay, do you ever have periods of time when you get lonely, or certain times of the year when you're more apt to really miss home or miss the people back home that really make it worthwhile?
Yeah, yes. The answer is yes, because like most people, the loneliness is highlighted around the holidays. It gets you reminiscing and thinking about family, loved ones, even your friends that you're very close with. And so yes, I do. There are many times, even during the course of the year, in which I feel lonely because I really don't have a cell number. I don't have anybody that I can talk to. And Filipinos, they're a very loving and caring culture, but they don't like to muddle in negative stuff. They want to okay, just forget it, move on, move forward. You know, and it's their way of just trying to be positive. They're a happy, positive people. But sometimes the reality of it is before you move forward, you have to address what is pulling you down at the time before you can move forward. And I don't like moving forward. It's not a matter of like. I can't move forward until I settle what's troubled within me.
I'm right there with you, Bill, and Aiza would agree with this. I mean, it's like, well, I want to get my bearings first. I want to get my understanding get my feelings together, my emotions together, then I'll move forward. I'm not ready to just let it go and be happy and smile. Exactly. I don't want to feel like I'm covering it up or faking it.
Yeah.
You know, I want to make sure I feel good about something and understand it.
Yeah.
Even if I don't like it, but at least I want to know what I'm dealing with. Mm-hmm. Then maybe I'll start moving on after I process my feelings. I hope you learn from this topic about family separation. As much as you hear people talk about leaving America or wherever they are to go to the Philippines, one thing you really don't hear people talk about is, you know, what it's like to leave family and loved ones and good friends back home, because people never hear about that. They talk about what they're going to get, the beaches, the lower cost of living, or nice people, or get away from the rat race of the United States where we're from. But nobody yet has said, well, what about your feelings about leaving home and your family and being separated from your family on holidays? So Bill was actually the one that raised this idea to me, and I thought, well, that's a great topic, because it certainly has to do with the Filipina, because, you know, I am putting myself in that situation, Lord willing, in 4 years or so with my wife, my amazing Aiza. And now I'm not going to have many people to leave behind, because we have a small family and most of them are passed away. And when my mother passes away, we'll be on our way here, I hope, if I can, you know, be confident about it. But, you know, if I had to leave people behind, I'm sure I would be lying awake at night at times, kind of wishing, well, I wish I was there, or I really miss being with that person. So that is just something to think about, not trying to be negative at all, but it's just a factual thing. If you go abroad, you're going to be leaving some very important people behind. Can you handle it? You might want to maybe listen to this video and think about the things you have to deal with in that situation.
Yeah, so. Bob, and if I may interject, and it's not, negativity doesn't have anything to do with it. What we're talking about is reality. The reality, it's part of life. So there's nothing negative that is being said or portrayed in this conversation. The other thing that I want to point out to your viewers, Bob, if I may, is that it's not just the relationships that you're leaving behind in the United States, you know, but it's also developing relationships here, fitting into the culture. Does your personality fit the Filipino culture? If you're an abrasive person, if you're a person that, you know, you might have many wonderful points about yourself, but if you're abrasive, argumentative, you have no patience, you might want to consider a different country, because the Philippines is a very challenging country to live in. They're very, what's the word that I'm looking for? They're not aggressive. It's not an aggressive society.
Docile.
Very docile, yeah. And you don't want to upend the apple cart. You know, you don't want to do anything, because I consider myself I have my bad moments.
We all do.
You know, sometimes I get angry, customer service. But the thing that I have to try to remember is that they didn't ask me to come here.
That's right.
You know, I chose to come here. And the other thing is if I'm acting out in a way that is not beneficial to me, I'm an ambassador of the United States. When you come here, you're an ambassador of the United States. You're an ambassador of your homeland. And how we conduct and carry ourselves in the Philippines or any country is going to reflect on those of you who have not even been in this country, and because of our actions, you might be judged for them.
There's quite a few expats in the Philippines that are not endearing themselves locally, and they're certainly not fitting into the culture, and even I think misleading and taking advantage of the wonderful women here. And I know you're here for the right reasons, and you're going to fit right in. Neither one of us look like we fit right in, but we need to act like we fit right in.
Exactly.
Being married to a Filipina, you'll hear over and over again how this is how we do it in the Philippines, and you'll see for yourself, and it takes some adjusting, but they're all been the good things. I've learned good things from Aiza. I've got to be patient. I got to learn to keep my mouth shut over here and not complain.
Yeah.
One time I got upset with a call. I got upset with a customer service person on the phone, probably for cable or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were a Filipino. Okay, and I'm barking at her, you know, and that didn't tempo. You know,
Yeah.
you don't get upset with a Filipina customer service person when your wife is right there. But it's all a learning experience. It can still be a wonderful opportunity to come live here in the Philippines. Right now, I'm just kind of going over what I need to know to be okay with this. And I just want to thank my guest, Bill from Philippines On Demand. Check out his channel. Wonderful channel, great editing. You must spend all day editing your videos.
It takes a
Great sense of humor. Former radio personalities just like me. As you tell, we have the right faces for radio, as they say. we're just right for radio. But please check out Philippines On Demand. Subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Bob.
Again, thank you.